Hello everybody, it's Dave Neal, stand-up comic, and we have a Love is Blind storyline that's continuing to play out. Micah says cast distanced themselves from her. She discussed this and so much more on the Nick Viall Files podcast. We're going to get into that. I'm going to share my most interesting clips of it, but of course you can go check out the full podcast wherever you listen. And also don't forget my podcast, Bachelor Rush Hour. BachelorRushHour.com is a place you can stream all of your entertainment news in one place. I will do a Vanderpump Rules recap today on Bachelor Rush Hour podcast. I will be sharing some other Bachelor news and, of course, Love is Blind. So if you want to go get that, the only place I'm going to do the Vanderpump Rules recap is on the podcast today. I'm a little late on time. I got some other interviews going on, and we have a good interview I'm going to be recording this afternoon for the podcast tomorrow. You can get it specifically over there. All right, let's get into this story, going deeper with Love is Blind's Micah. Let's hear what she has to say regarding her relationship, what she thought of Zach, and a few other topics.
But it was too much for me.
You thought it was too much?
She was sitting there trying to apologize. Okay.
So the first thing they're talking about is Irina and Zach, and Micah says it was too much the way Zach confronted Irina, saying she was only there for fame.
Think it's genuine or not. She's sitting there. She showed up. She's doing her best. And it's just like dig after dig after dig. And then to say someone's not there for the right reasons, like you've plugged your Instagram just in this finale or this reunion 4 different times.
True.
Like, who's here for fame? Like, you're the one making all these videos, doing all this stuff. She's been on ghost mode for weeks.
Yeah, that was a bit
That's fair.
sus when he was saying the receipts that I posted on my Instagram. I'm like, okay, so are we dropping your handle or?
Yeah, check my story. Like,
Okay, so we clearly have a people that didn't do their research. What Zach had done was during the finale, he said, "I'm going to be posting receipts to my story," and those receipts turned out to be a story about redeeming yourself and about grace. It is a story that left me just absolutely warm on the inside with how kind it was. Elise says here, "This is the greatest use of social media I've ever seen." Well, so they didn't do their homework or see that, and that's fine. Okay, they didn't. It's called going deeper, but they didn't go deep at all. Zach's allowed to share his story, and he's allowed to call out Irina. I mean, she treated him horribly, and most people in the comment sections of this video agree with me that Zach is not the person you want to pick a fight with here. He did all the right things, and he's in a happy relationship for that. All right, let's go to the slap. We're going to talk about the butt slap. I didn't really cover this much at the beginning because I just thought it was so easily dismissed as just like a casual instance where it looked like Paul left the altar and smacked Micah's friend's butt. They're going to show the clip here. Let's watch.
anyone or laugh in anyone's face. That's something that never happens.
Let's talk about the tap. Let's bring it up.
The butt
I
tap?
know it was discussed last night, but I feel like it
slap
was.
heard around the world.
We need to really break it down.
I just can't believe it was shown on the reunion.
Let's look at this. Okay, there's a smile there by the
Yeah.
end. Or by your, is that your friend?
Yeah, that's my friend.
So the friend spoke about the tap. Zachary Reality actually covered it. Oh, I have it right here. This is from a video from 2 days ago.
Ruby has now taken to her Instagram stories to say, "This started out as funny and the internet reaching, but the comment about me liking it is extremely inappropriate. And just to clarify, I am and always will be Team Micah."
All right. So anyway, that settles that, but let's hear them finish the conversation.
Okay. Now, there's this little thing.
Okay, so I don't want to share the whole thing. Nick basically, and I don't disagree with him, he says, look, when a guy touches a woman when he walks by her, there's no need to do it. It's just this normalized thing. I completely hear that point of view when that happens at a bar, but when Nick says he's only had men do this to women, men never do it to him, I disagree. I think, and when you're in a crowded bar, everyone's touching each other and move around, but I understand the point. I just don't, we don't get a clear cut there. We see what looks like a tap, and then afterwards we see her kind of moving her butt. But there's someone crosses the path, so I don't know what happened over there, but no one's really making a big deal of it, including Micah. She doesn't think it's a big deal, but she does say that Paul has been really weird lately, so I wanted to pick up the conversation right there. I don't know, is it much ado about nothing? I honestly just don't think it's that big of a deal, but Nick's kind of taken it as like a big storyline, and I don't know, it's for sure worth a conversation, but let's go to Nick sort of prodding, is that the right word, prodding Micah to give him the tea.
About it, that's a whole, I think
she might have not known what was going on. Honestly, all my friends were like 2 sheets to the wind at that point. So it's like, I don't think anyone knew what was happening. I don't know. Paul's being weird now. Now that you talk about it, I'm starting to get pissed. I'm like, if I'm calling after this, and be
I
like,
think you
what's
should be
your
pissed.
deal?
I think you should be pissed.
Yeah, I kind of am now, honestly. I was giving him the benefit of the doubt, but like from hearing from a guy perspective, I'm like, okay.
No, I'm telling you from a guy perspective, that was bullshit.
And from another guy's perspective, I don't know. There's something that might have happened there, but I wouldn't call it bullshit because we don't really know.
All right, I'm about to show up at his hotel room after this.
On the topic of friends, like
Yeah.
I know there was obviously some criticism about like you and Irina in the pods,
Yeah.
but after when you were introducing Paul to everyone, like can you shed a little bit of light on that? Because I think
Yeah.
some people, it really rubbed them the wrong way that your
sure.
friends weren't welcoming to him. And so like from your perspective, someone who's there, like how did it go down?
Yeah, watching it, I was rubbed the wrong way. I was like, is this what happened? This is not good.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I just don't think your friends are good friends to you.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
It's an interesting conversation, but the overall episode I think was really lacking of true drama, which is fine. It doesn't have to be drama, but it's like we watched it play out and we're really searching for a greater storyline that I just don't see there. Now, obviously, Micah's friends got hit really hard with people saying like, "Oh, they were bad friends," but Micah defends them and says, "No, they got to see Paul, and what we get to see now is maybe the friends had a point that Paul was like really just not that into her."
The girl, I'm blanking on her name, butt tap girl.
Oh, yeah. And he was like liking her bikini pics. and
Yeah,
stuff.
there's just like, there's some other data points here.
Maybe
So they're going hard on Micah here. They're bringing up Butt Tap Girl again and saying there's all these data points that she and Paul are liking each other's Instagram stories, which might be, there might be something to it. I don't think so.
not fucking, but like,
But
Enjoying each other's attention.
if I had an ex-fiance, I would hope that all my friends are ex and him as well.
Yeah. Okay, well, here's
At this point, I just feel bad for Micah. It's an untenable position to be in where she's got to defend her friends, doesn't want to talk too much trash about Paul. Just not a great scenario here. I don't know if I'd go ahead and call this a disaster, but it's just not a situation I would want to be in.
devil's advocate a little bit.
fair enough. Yeah.
Paul and I, up until I saw the finale, were on really good terms.
Okay.
We had actually met up recently. I wouldn't say we were talking about like getting back together, but it was definitely, there was a lot of, it was like very emotional. Like there was some hand holding. Like it was like definitely, oh, there's still kind of feelings here.
Oh.
And, maybe that's why everyone was still on good terms. They knew that there was still like some feelings in my heart. We weren't like exes that like hated each other. We were kind of trauma bonded in a way. Like there was still a little bit of lingering friendship even after our breakup.
But after the wedding, did you guys date at all?
Yeah, we did.
You did.
All right, so they tried dating and it just didn't work out. She said he just wasn't giving her what she needed, so kind of fizzled out as it does. 118.05 here. Let's go to this next clip. Just gonna barrel through this because just I don't know. Maybe I'm in a bad mood. I feel like this. Not too much going on here. What will happen, and just to stick around, is Micah will discuss how she thinks that because of the way she's received all this negative attention, that other cast members have distanced themselves from her.
Like the days following the wedding, I was so broken, just like holed up in some hotel in downtown Seattle. Like, where do I go? Like, do I go back to Arizona? And I did go back to Arizona. But the night before I left, he came and we talked and we had a nice night. And it was good to see him again, but we kind of left it open. Like, we're not going to just like jump back into it. I'm still like her. Like, I think he was still feeling like, I don't even know if it's worth it kind of thing too. And then we kept talking, like over the phone and stuff. And then he said something along the lines of alluding to the fact we were in a relationship. And I was like, with who? Like me? Because
All right, so this is interesting because they didn't have the relationship to find. And we saw Paul on TMZ the other day say, oh, as soon as she dumped me, she just ran off with another guy to Europe. And she's saying, we weren't in a thing. Like, we were not together. We might have been seeing each other, but, you got to define the relationship. DTR.
I feel like everyone is so afraid of being canceled. No one ever talked about anything. Like everyone was just like so tight-lipped about everything, all nervous about what was going to come out. I mean, I'm shocked at the accusation that Zach threw at me yesterday, being like, the girls here have been saying that you were never interested in getting married to Paul. I'm like, who? Okay.
Yeah, and
I
of
feel like
course,
everyone-
no one has mentioned that yet. So unless anyone wants to come out and talk about it, it's accusations on these reality shows don't really weigh much.
How things were portrayed at the beginning and the Mean Girl edit and stuff, I feel like it really put a damper on my storyline. I feel like no one was able to kind of see like my journey with Paul and kind of see it as genuine and see those things. And I just wish I could have, owned up to my part in it and kind of cleared the air there, while also kind of like trying to explain like things are just not how they look. And while there is things I can learn from it, I can grow, I can be better, I can be less selfish. It's like, things were taken so far out of proportion. I feel like it really just kind of changed the vibe of the show. It's like the show is supposed to be about falling in love, not about like the drama and the girls like lounge. I don't know. I think it was I just wish there was more time to dive into everything, I guess.
Yeah, it's a gimmick. The show's a gimmick. You know what I mean? It's just a gimmick. And every show's got its thing. Bachelor has the fantasy suite, the rose ceremony, the 2-on-1. They're all just gimmicks. They're putting people in non-normal situations and seeing how they do, which is fine.
Kim and Josh didn't show up to the reunion.
Okay, so this is the part that actually kills me. This is where they speculate as to why Josh and Jackie didn't show up to the reunion. We all know why. I'll get to it in a second.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't even make any sense. And I feel like that's where a lot of like, oh, they're not even genuine, they never even cared kind of comments came from.
Do you think it was kind of a cop-out that Jackie and Josh didn't show up to the reunion?
I don't know why they didn't show up, to be honest with you. I am really interested in knowing. I heard it was like way above everyone's like pay grades. So I don't know. Maybe they didn't just
Sounds to me like they decided not to come.
Really?
I can't imagine there's a world in where Netflix wouldn't want them to come.
Here's the thing. Nick is dead wrong here. I left a comment, but I'll just paraphrase. Jackie and Josh were uninvited from the live reunion because Jackie was going to share receipts of Marshall using a transphobic slur. And now they still had that conversation, but they had it in a pre-packaged way. They had it with Vanessa already talking to them. The Netflix producers, the powers that be this show, didn't want to have some wild conversation play out live on Netflix. A big debate over a hotbed issue. They did not want that. They didn't want that, but it didn't mean they wouldn't include it. They just wanted control over having that pre-edit. This is so obvious to me. We know that this is what happened. Jackie wasn't nervous to go on the show.
Like, that was a major storyline.
I don't know why she wouldn't want to come. She was like, I'm bringing the tea, I'm bringing the receipt.
It's not that she didn't want to come. She was uninvited.
I mean, she's just a big talker.
Yeah, okay.
So they're dead wrong there.
She chickened out.
Yeah.
And didn't want to get flamed and roasted and was afraid that...
No, because in the end, her receipts proved that she didn't cheat on Marshall. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that she came off looking great. Look, it's all muddy, right? Some tweets come out of the way Marshall has spoken about Black and Asian women in his past. If we do report on it, we don't judge people that harshly, because what someone said when they were a teenager on Twitter doesn't, to me, show me their character for who they are today. Now, with this said, what we see on the show is Jackie and Marshall and all that. It's, look, I just completely reject the idea that she wouldn't go on. That doesn't mean I'm like picking her over Marshall or whatever. I just think that it was Netflix going, look, we have a $1 billion app here. We're not going to get into this culture war. And it shouldn't be a culture war, but they've made it out to become one. All right, let me know what you guys think. I've got more content coming your way, including a Vanderpump Rules recap and other Bachelor news on the podcast Bachelor Rush Hour. We'll be back right after this.